What's up? Good morning, guys. How we doing? Let's get to it, baby. We are 2.5 minutes out from the close of Big Bar 21. Let's see what we get here out of 21. A little bit of a pop back upside here out of the bulls. Not really what I'd prefer out of 21. I'd love to see 21 just fade. Give me a nice clean close out of the bears. Well, let's see what they can do, man. 2 minutes is a long time. How we doing, guys? What's up? All right. So ATR on NQ. 42, man. That's not too bad, is it? We can work with 42. Good morning, guys. All right. All right. Come on, 21. Give it to me. So, context here. This is definitely not the easiest read in the world. If you're having some trouble with context right now, those of you guys trading only RAM, I get it. It's okay if you're having some context issue, because you could draw it either way, and neither of which would really be wrong. There's kind of an argument here for a soft bear channel from bar 12 until bar now, and then, of course, kind of a big trading range from bar, I guess we could call it 2, all the way to now. But isn't that kind of always the case? You can kind of always make a few different arguments, with a couple exceptions, but I'll tell you what, man. I don't even care what it is. ATR 42, man. Let's get after it. We love it. Alan, good morning. News, big dog. What's up, brother? How we doing? Well, I should probably be ready, huh? Because that fell. Probably nothing. We had nothing. All right, I'll wait on 22. See if 22 gives me something I can work with here. Question here, they say sold the close of bar 13. Okay, you sold the close of 13 into the open of 14, got a full ATR. Was one bar enough to escape that bull channel? Well, realistically, I'm not sure I'd call that a bull channel unless you're looking at a lower time frame, like a 1 or 2 minute chart. But, we know that even just looking at a 5. You don't have to flop over to the 2 to see that from 9 to 12, it's, a little bit. But contextually speaking, I would just call that a super early attempt at a range. Now, as far as 13 is concerned, for me, I would love to see, if we're looking for, A minus, B plus or up kind of setup, I'd love to see 13 split into at least 2 bars. It's not super often I'm taking like the first bar. It's almost always I'm taking the second, not necessarily 3. 3 is great, but especially in a range, we know this, right? 3 bars on a continuation trade inside of a range almost always takes up the whole damn range. So, 2 ideally, 13, I probably wouldn't take 13 unless we're going, unless we're disengaging RAM mode and going spec mode for the sake of entertainment, but for our real trading, nah. Not a huge fan of 13. But I see why you took it. Again, I don't want to say like, oh, that's the worst trade in the world, because you're like right there. That's a more logical thing than most people would do, is selling the close of 13. I'm just saying, for me, I'd probably wait for 14 and it wouldn't have given it to me. And this is looking for a trading range anyway. But let's see what 22 can do. If 22 can give me a close beneath the wick low of 17, hello, potential stop hunt. all you bears, you dogs. You know, ATR on gold is 6. But ATR on NQ is 41. It's like, I'm sorry, I just can't look away from NQ today. As long as that ATR holds up. It's been a little while since we've seen a number that pretty in the bottom right. That's good to see. Come on, Bears. Do it, do it, do it. Again, couple ways to draw context right now. You could argue a soft bear channel from bar 12 onward. And you could argue a sideways trading range from bar 2 on to now. Big. From here all the way up to here, right? So, I don't really think there's a wrong way to draw it. For me, you know, if I can see both, I usually opt to look at the one that's a little more dangerous for me, which would be the sideways trading range. I'd prefer a soft bear channel over that. You know, but then the nuance of signal bar size comes into play versus potential reward. So, we'll approach it together. How's that sound? What's up with silver today? Silver making people rich today? Or taking people's homes? Looks like a little bit of both. Oh, man. You know it's one or the other with silver, man. Alright, here's bar 23. Did we get out of 23? You know, 23 can actually close in the upper third. And doesn't get so big. I might actually have a little scalp. Wouldn't be the best probability in the world, but worth putting on for me. So, you know, I was just talking to my Tomb guys last night in the Tomb Talk. We're talking about time of day nuance and profit targets and outsized bars. Now, 3 is a really good example because when you see 3 close, bar 3 this morning of the New York session, it's like, damn, that's pretty good. And we know ATR is going to be artificially low at that time, 33, but the damn bar. was what, 86, 87 points in range? It's like, I'd give it a little leeway off the rip of the open because ATR is going to be artificially low. Why, by the way? Because 7 of these bars are going to be from pre-market. It looks back at the last 10. But with this, I mean, it's like triple, damn near. So it's like, that's part of the nuance. It's like, that's a little much. If it was double, I can make sense of that. But, 2.5 times, 3 times the ATR, even off the rip, where I'm giving it a little bit of room, maybe. That's outsized, man. I can't really reasonably expect bar 4 to do the same thing in a normal market. Gotta hold off on 3. Okay, so, bar 23 here, again, there's kind of a lot going on right now. You could draw this. That puts it kind of right in the middle of the range. You could say, it's algo and degenerate territory. Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at you for saying that. However, when you have ranges that line up, this is kind of messy, but it is there. When you have sideways ranges that line up with a soft bull or bear channel, you end up with like a little bit of edge, like in a soft bear channel up here, understanding that you're starting to get a little bit away from the middle of the sideways range. Does that make sense? Because you have this now as well. You can draw it both ways. Again, I prefer to look at it as the one that's more dangerous to me, which would be the sideways range. But in this case, you do have that. I'm not going to pretend like the edge on that is tremendous, but it could be there. Small, depending on how you manage it. You don't want to risk too much, though. Like, I wouldn't necessarily want to go and risk the wick high at 12 unless I was looking to swing trade it. Which, of course, I'm not. I'd be looking for a scalp. And here we go. Bar 23 fading anyway. So all that probably for nothing. All right, 12 seconds out. Man, don't you love a decent ATR? Like, I really mean it when I say that. Like, the market, it's such a different feel. Even when the ATR is just like 40, which, I mean, it's not even the biggest ATR in the world, you know what I mean? Like, when it's 16 versus 40 with the exact same price action, it's just like, wow, this is very, kind of opposite. You know, in the early years of being a trader, some of you guys might still be there, you think that trading is like going to be like this really fucking adrenaline-filled thing, and it's really exciting all the time. Sometimes, you want to have fun. I want trading to be that, because that's kind of what I fell in love with. And then you start to realize that a lot of trading is kind of boring. But it's like, all right, the boring stuff is necessary, but like, I got to a point eventually where it's like, I went through the whole phase of like, I don't give a shit. Let's just make money, blah, blah, blah. And that's great, but it's like, okay, you start making some money and it's like, I want this to be what I wanted it to be. Like, just the money. It's like, I'm going to spend my time doing this. I want to have fun with it, at least a little, you know what I mean? So the boring stuff is necessary, but you want it to be that, exciting piece, as long as it doesn't drag you out of your discipline so far. So that ATR being a little higher, it kind of puts you back in it. locks you back in a little bit, man. When ATR is 16, it's like, oh my God. You sit here for 6 hours for one trade. Probably an exaggeration. You sit here for 6 hours for, 5 trades or whatever. It's like, all right, well. I can do that when ATR is a little more reasonable, because when you get in a trade, you can actually expect a reasonable time to conclusion rather than 90 minutes of back and forth nothing when the ATR is so low. And then it's kind of like a bell curve, right? You get back to an ATR of like 4, and it turns into party time 4th of July. All right, 2 minutes out here from the close of bar 24. Let's see what we get. All right, 60 seconds out. What's the ES looking like? Whoa. ES is looking like a lot worse. Yeah, look at this. Wow, it's been a little bit since I've seen a chart that looks this rough on ES. NQ actually looks more reasonable. All right, 20 seconds. I'll watch the close here on 24. 25 might be a stop hunt bar for me. Wick low of 7 would be a beauty. I'd love to get that done. All right, 20, 25, do it to me. Ooh. I'm going to keep an eye on the Dow as well. That's YM. I'll watch 25 over here on YM also. ATR 52 though. It's not 1-to-1 ATR on YM and NQ obviously. A 38 ATR on NQ is much better than a 52 ATR on YM. I prefer to hang out on NQ if we can help it. Question, what's up, Nico? I've been stuck at 51K on my funded accounts now this whole week. How do you mentally react when you haven't really moved in the way you've wanted and have that feeling of being stuck? The real answer, a lot of people are going to give kind of hand-wavy answers. I've never liked that because it's like, it just doesn't do anything. It's like, oh, just stick to the plan and blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, that's fucking great. Like, let's talk about the real world. You want to know the real answer to this? At least for me, the real answer is you need to have something that isn't trading. It doesn't have to be something you're as like gung-ho about as trading, but you got to have something that isn't trading. Almost every high-performing trader does. Whether it's the gym, I don't know. I mean, I can only talk about like my shit. The gym, nutrition, what business. If you own a business, like a brick and mortar place or something online, or you're a programmer, you work on projects, something you can feel, because if you're here, you know, you wouldn't necessarily be able to paint with this broad of a brush for all people, but if you're here, you know, you're probably similar to the rest of us. If you're not making progress in a thing, it really doesn't feel good. But if you have 2 or 3 things, and let's say trading's like number 1 by far, that's cool. But when you finish trading and there's nothing else to take, and you're like, wasn't the best day, I don't know. At least you have something else to go make progress in. And then in your head, you're like, hey, well, you know, it's subconscious, of course, but you're like, I made progress doing this today. That's great. And then the next day, you make progress trading, and then you don't work on the other thing at all, but you still feel good. When you make progress on both things, you feel really good. But at least, you know, now instead of feeling that way a certain percentage of the time, you're able to kind of hedge that with something else. By the way, 26 here might be my stop hunt golden boy. You're able to hedge that feeling with something else. It doesn't have to be something that you're as crazy about as trading, by the way. Just something that you can make a little progress in. If all you have is trading, it's probably not going to end well. Because what happens? You don't have the best day, or the market sucks, the ATR is like 6. So your options are just start straight up gambling, which if that's all you're doing, it's not going to help you very much. It's going to, and if you have discipline issues already, it's going to break you out of those. Any progress you've made on the discipline front. And then it's like, well, great. Now the rest of the day I get to go sit and sulk over my break even or red day. No one at the high level's doing that. No one's doing that. It doesn't feel good, of course, but they take that energy and they go fucking do something else. Come on, 26. Hey there now, 3 minutes. Two and a half minutes out here. Hold it right there, 26. Don't you grow much more than that. You know, and honestly, guys, as far as the making progress standpoint, we have a lot of different people in here. It's like high 90% dudes. Maybe I should tell the guys it's like half women in here. It's like 95% dudes. And a ton of different age ranges. So, I don't know. I can just speak on my stuff, but like, man, if maybe you're like, okay, I don't do any of that stuff. Okay, well, maybe you have a garden. Go do that. Anything you like. You have to have something that's not trading. I'm telling you, if all you have is trading, that's a bad setup, dude. The day that you're break even or red, or the multiple days, or the market's slow and there's not really a lot to do, I mean, what do you expect? To make tremendous progress every single day of your career forever? No, obviously not. Let's be real. So, realistically, your life is going to kind of suck if that's all that you have. That's the real answer. Oh, 27. See how it closes up. I don't think you guys get what I'm saying. What I'm saying doesn't mean put trading lower on the list. That's not what I'm saying. I was that dude, man. I wanted to trade 16 hours a day. I get it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you have to have something, even if it's like, yeah, I kind of like this, where you can make progress. Ideally, something you do every day, not just when you're red, because you'll quickly associate it with bad things. If you're like, I only work on my garden when I have a shitty trading day, that's probably not the answer. The best things that I have found, most traders at the highest level, you know what they do? You know what the thing is for them? And usually they find it after trading. I found it before I ever started trading, is it ends up being something physical. Some form of training, and nutrition. That's usually what ends up being for most people that I've seen who perform really, really well. I don't think that's a coincidence, by the way. All right, 27. Let's see what NQ's got for me here. Reasonable. I would like a little bit of wick on that body. Get that body a tad more moderate. Range on this bar is still lower than a full ATR. Greatest probability in the world? Nope. But worth taking for me. Aligns with RAM and a scout mentality. I will get short there. I'm only going to risk the wick high of 23. I'm not really interested in going as high as 19, though I could. And let's just see if they can fade it. Small stab, small risk. See if the bears can fade that guy. I'm gonna cut it. Copy chart always takes an hour. There we go. Alright, flat. Let's watch 28 and see if I can get long on it. If 28 can close, let's see here. Yeah, above the wick high of 19. All of a sudden I got a God honest, an honest to God continuation setup that I gotta put on. So let's see if I get that. And ATR is 38, holding up. Holding up, we love to see it. I would love if ATR could hold above 30 throughout the day. I think that'd be a good refresher. All right, 3 minutes out here. Let's see if I can do anything. I'm gonna check gold and the Dow, by the way. All right, hang out here on NQ. Yeah, see, I'm watching 28. An even better scenario would be if 29 could pop and close above the wick high of 12, but, you know. I just gotta watch how this closes up. Who we get? Okay, so the bulls are trying to break us out here of the context previously of soft bear channel. You see this? So now I got to default. So we got to remember that this is potentially a thing, right? Right now, that kind of puts us dead in the middle with a big wick up top. Tells me I don't think anyone's sure what the hell's going on, so I gotta wait here for bar 29 most likely. We're 23 seconds out here from the close. And see what we get. See this? I think the market right now can't decide between kind of that big range or more like a soft bear channel. Now, I don't mean so literally, but I mean the average of everybody in every algorithm. I think they're kind of seeing both. So it wouldn't surprise me at all. I'd love to see, by the way, I'd love to see us just pop through and snap all this up so we don't even have to think about any of this. Oops. It wouldn't surprise me at all if, as the day goes on, this kind of becomes a thing, turns into a wedge, and we snap up to the downside. But our quickest option here is just pop higher, head up toward the high of day. There you go, bears. Would have been nice if you could have had that confidence on the close of 27, bears. Let's see what they've got here. We're 240 out. In the meantime, I'll check out the Dow. ATR over here on the Dow is about 50. Yeah. That ATR is getting sucked down, isn't it? Gold? Yeah, right now, NQ, I mean, as much as it's a big trading range, I think it has the most potential. With that good ATR, man, this bar's helping. Back up to 38 from 35 on the ATR. You explain ATR. So ATR is this number down here, bottom right of your screen in red. It says 38. That's the average true range. That right there is our volatility context heads up data display. It's not, I mean, if you want to call it an indicator, you can. But it's really more just like a data display. It shows us the average range in points of a 5-minute bar based on the last 10 5-minute bars. All right. All right, rolling over here in 15 seconds. Let's see what bar 30 brings. You know when this kind of thing happens? Where, like bar 28, here again, I'll have to draw it again. Bar 28 kind of tries to snap up like a channel. Not 28 literally, but in this case, bar 28. And then this happens. Turns out the context was right. It just took some time for the bears to get the confidence, right? These two bars, 29 and 30, I always look at this as a point of, okay, who's going to take over here? Because this could just as easily maintain this throughout the day, take out the lowest 7. Or, what we also oftentimes see is this kind of thing start. All of a sudden it turns into a soft bull channel and continues the day from there. These couple of bars are kind of the decision maker. Well, maybe 31, 32 as well, but... because now you have a bull attempt. It took out that wick high at 23, right? So now someone's got to make a decision here. Which side's going to kind of take control a little bit. And in the meantime, you got to wait for the setup to come to you. I don't think there's a whole lot to do here on bar 30. Well, I know there's not a whole lot for me to do on bar 30. All right, back in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. All right. Well, big ol' big ol' sideways range, man, here on NQ. Gold, what's up with you? Doji, not much. The Widowmaker, silver. What's going on with silver? The Dow. Oh my goodness. Wow. ES is about the ugliest thing I've ever seen here today. It's effectively a giant ascending wedge with massive wicks and huge insecurity out of both sides. NQ is sort of also that at this point, but it is much cleaner than ES at least, which is saying a lot. All right, 32. All right. You know what I haven't done in a long time is run a poll, and it just hit me that I'm actually pretty damn curious. And by the way, there's no ego here, so please don't be a lying piece of shit. There it is! There's the poll, hit it! We gotta get a feel. Have you ever taken a payout? And that means yet. Because for a lot of you, the answer is not no, it is just not yet. What's up? Where do we sit? Let's get that sample size up. Vote. It's actually a pretty good chunk of yeses, honestly. Prop says, yes, but I'm not profitable. They said, some guy on YouTube made 4K last year on payouts. What's the point? To do a full year for 4K? I don't really get what you're saying, but maybe. I mean, look, that's... Who the fuck cares what some other guy did? How do you guys... It's weird, bro. You guys look to other men as, like, what you're capable of doing. That's like saying, oh my god, some guy on Reddit said that he only put on half a pound of muscle in 2 years at the gym. I'm fucked. What does that have to do with you, big dog? Maybe you put on 40. Good God. Stop with these weird outlooks, bro. Come on, 33. Give me a nice bear close. All right, 3.5 minutes out. I'd like to see 33 close up well below, not just barely below, but well below the wick low of 29 is kind of my point. And if it can, then I got to stop limit sell for the bears. But if it just closes barely beneath 29, I think the risk is too high for single bar sideways trading range maintaining from bar 28 through until now. Now I'm looking at NQ. All right, 2 minutes out here. Let's see what 33 can bring. Let's go, 33! Dump it down 65 seconds out. Give me a beautiful close beneath 29. I'll slap that guy on. Trump will send a tweet. Dump that baby 200 points. What do you say? Let's do it. Nico, just wanted to tell you that while I've been trying to learn RAM for a little while now, these last 3 Tomb Talks have really made it clock, almost like a light switch turned on. Raptor, big dog. Love to hear it. $33. You are a disappointment. Alright, see what bar 34 can bring. Hey, Gumzinator, let's all check in on Gum a little more often, eh? Big man. Alright, 34, come on now. So I have a question for you guys. Let me end this poll. In the chat, I'm not going to run a new poll, but the payout poll ended at over a third of you guys have taken a payout. I don't think you guys understand. You know, theoretically, that percentage should be less than 5%. That's kind of crazy. Assuming you're all being truthful, which I will assume. 35%, that's pretty good. Okay, in the chat, not a new poll, but just in the chat, if we were going to transition over to spec mode, aka risky wrench, whatever you want to call it, right now, I want to hear, would you go long or short? Because I got to tell you, right now, I think we're looking at about 50-50 here on bar 34. So if you had to hit something right now, full spec mode, speculation mode that is, long or short? Okay, here. Long, short. Long, short. Long, short. Holy shit. I'm pretty sure that was outsized to the long side, which is pretty interesting. Do you guys think this little wedge is snapping up higher, huh? You know, right now, I mean, would obviously never be like a ram trade, right? But I look at this, and if you're like, Nico, you gotta do something, big dog. And I'm like, please, no, I'm scared. You're like, no, you have to. I would look at this, and you're like, hey, you got 4 seconds to make a decision. I'd probably have to get long. But if I stop beneath the wick low of 7 and see if we can eventually get back to high a day. But, I mean, we're talking 51%, dude. We're not talking 70%. Mitchell, been trading for 2 months. About to get my first payout here soon. I set a daily profit goal of $450 to $500 on each account of my 12 Apex accounts. Once I hit my target, I stop. It's a good approach. All right, 35. And a 35 could have been a repeat of 34 here. All of a sudden I got something on my plate. Still could be. The more it pulls in, the less likely it is to be a reasonable signal bar. 2 minutes out, lots of time to clean it up. Any of you guys sitting in a trade right now, by the way? A lot of you guys had an opinion. I'm curious if anyone acted on it. Short on gold, short on silver. Short on gold. Yeah, let's see what's up. Gold. Well, I suppose I hope that softball channel snaps up for you. All right, fastest route to a setup here. 36 can get low, roll over. 37 gets nice and low. Maybe look to stop on the wick low of 7. Check out the Dow. Yeah, the Dow is in this, you could call it kind of a soft bull trend, but it's starting to flatten out into a channel. ATR down to 43. That's not really that high on the Dow. Gold? Yeah, still hanging out. Silver, baby. You know, silver's tough because a lot of these firms, they don't let you trade micro silver, which I really don't get. I don't get it. Why do they let you trade the regular silver contracts, but you can't trade micro silver? It doesn't make any sense. Silver's a big instrument. It makes me wonder, have the props, I don't know, I mean, completely speculating, but I wonder if the props have data on the fact that silver traders tend to perform reasonably well. So they're not going to let you trade the micros because maybe it's too much edge in silver. I don't know. But there's plenty of edge in NQ, man, so that doesn't make too much sense. All right, 36 about to roll over here. What's up with crude? And we'll start trading some soybeans or something, huh? Feeder cattle, whatever they're called. Get some of that going. Gold trying to make that push higher, trying to maintain that soft bull channel. Some of you guys were short gold, weren't you? See if that can curl. I don't want to be that guy that looks back and you're like 1 point in the red and you're like, up, up, gotcha. It's like, no, dude, I'm like break even on the trade. You're like, gotcha. Come on now, NQ. Hey, if you guys haven't yet, by the way, please hit like on the stream, man. It's free, it's easy. I appreciate you doing so. It does help out tremendously. It is not an empty gesture. This is crude. Yeah. Gold. Yeah, gold. Man, ATR on gold kind of died, didn't it? Down to 4.5. It was 6.5, damn near 7. Maybe an hour ago. Kind of fallen. Probably won't last. It'll probably pick up here on gold. Silver. Okay, silver. Is ES still as ugly? Oh my goodness. Right here, baby. Optimal conditions. That is something else. I mean, can you range scalp it? Sure. It's just, there's not... The edge is tougher to come by. 100%. 100%. This is a big old wedge. It's a little tougher to manage risk for the points that you're getting. It can be done, but, you know, let's not pretend like it's best environment. Alright, NQ. Yeah, I use the period of 10 for my ATR. All right. Obviously, the big three in that poll. What are you guys trading right now? Those are going to be our top three, of course. Manuel, yeah, frozen concentrated orange juice. Yeah, that one's pretty good. Well, I mean, Chris, don't announce it to the world, big dog. I mean, we know you're doing it, but you don't got to tell everybody. Russ! Passed my second eval today. Good work, brother. Love to see it. Alright, NQ right now is in a big old range. Check out gold. Also in a big old range. ATR on gold, hanging on to 4.5. Silver here. AKA the Widowmaker, man. ATR 27. ATR here on NQ 28. Good eye out and NQ here. So, you know, when the market is in a big sideways single bar trading range like this, you know, again, most of you guys should be aware of this by now. If you don't, that's cool. This is going to be the hardest environment right here to find a repeatable edge in. This is algo and degenerate territory. If I were ever going to hit it, it would only be in spec mode, never in RAM mode. RAM mode comes when this thing breaks out. But my point in bringing this up is with an ATR of 28 in a single bar trading range, you know, that's already getting killed off. But 28 on the ATR is still better volatility than we were seeing in arguably better market conditions, like setup-wise, right? The last few days with an ATR of like 14, which sucks. So as soon as this thing breaks out of the single bar sideways trading range, which it will, I'd bet my ass that ATR pops back above 30 and holds. Let's hope we can get that. All right, keep an eye on this. I'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere, baby. Back soon. All right, welcome back. Let's see here. I'm gonna wait for 41. Get out of this range. That range has been around for so long at this point. I'm gonna wait for 41. If 41 can give me a nice, clean bull close, I'll take the later trade. I'm cool with that. The close of 40 is the early trade, which is also fine to take, but I'll wait on the later trade. All right, 41. Yeah, I see some of you guys talking about metals. Listen, you know, with metals in general, like there's little nuance. I treat it almost the same with the understanding that like gold and silver, like metals in general, they tend to, they won't do much until they decide to do something and then they go. And I don't mean they like break out quick. I mean, like metals in general, they'll oftentimes tend to trend harder for longer than something like NQ. Okay, but at the same time, volatility can also die and they can do nothing for longer than, you know, NQ, the S&P might. Now that's a huge general statement, right? But I would think most people would agree. All right, beauty. Beauty, beauty, beauty. Let's see. Okay. 220 out. ATR here now 27 on NQ. See if that can start to creep back up a little. Minute 30 out here. Oh, bulls, you handsome dogs. Let's get a nice clean close. 60 seconds. Pop over here. And see if I can put it on. All right. Copy trader engaged. 15 seconds. 10 seconds out. Get my stop limit buy ready and move way up. Come on, bulls. Come on, bulls. Shrink that wick. Shrink that wick. I'm going to give that about 15, 20 seconds. You know, the wick is there. It's not tremendous in size, but it's there. The bar is small. We'll see if we can get a fill here. I'll give it about 20 seconds here. 5 more seconds. Oh, you insecure bulls. You bunch of babies. No fill, no trade. All right. All right, 220 out here from the close of bar 42. Yeah. See that? See that? Bull insecurity. There's like, I don't know, man. That was a big trading range. We're gonna try to bring it back in there. Let's see if they can. Yeah, you see this? Gold just decides, 44.70 is interesting. Hangs out here for, 15 bars. Got someone asking about the 40 range time frame. Well, here's a 30 range. See if it'll load up. So the thing with okay, so the thing with different styles of charts, I know people like tick charts, whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay, I really don't. For me, like, I look at this, and the way that I look at all this, it really doesn't matter. Like, pick one that you like. The only thing that does matter is the self-fulfilling prophecy aspect of a popular time frame, like, for example, a 5-minute chart, because there's a lot of people looking at it. As you start to get more niche, that starts to dwindle a tad. Okay, because there's less people looking at it, right? But at the end of the day, all of this is the same data, just being represented visually to you in a different way. You know, if you're not really sure and you feel kind of lost as far as like what chart you want to trade off of, here's the best advice I can give you. If you can't kill it on a 5-minute or a 2-minute, at least on average, or a 15-minute or whatever, switching to a tick chart long term is probably not the answer. The answer is locking in a reasonable, logical methodology and then staying disciplined and letting the sample size play out over a big sample size, I suppose. Letting the data play out over a big sample size. If you're trading a 3-minute chart and you're like, oh, I lost 2 trades in a row, I better switch to a tick chart. That's like really beginner type shit. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, it's all the same data. So for me, I'm like, you know what? If that's the truth, which I greatly believe to be the case, I might as well be on something that's a self-fulfilling prophecy and a good balance. So, I don't know, a 5-minute, a 2-minute. Obviously, a 2-minute's less popular, but still top of the minute. And then a good balance of setup quality versus setup quantity. Right? And you know, you don't want to trade a time frame that stresses you the hell out. Like a 30-second chart. Oh, we got a minute 50 out here. Until the close of bar 43 here on NQ. All right, 44. Maybe you have something on 44 here for me. Let's see if the Bears can get it done. right, 4 minutes here. Come on, big bar 44. All right, watch NQ here. Let's see if we can get a nice, clean, reasonable close out of bar 44. You know, big picture context, still channel, but there is room in here. So let's see if I can grab something. Yeah, if your ATR is different than mine, either your value is not 10 or you're on MNQ instead of NQ. I'm on NQ. All right. Hop over. I don't want to see 44 grow much more. There's some room here. Big context is big trading range. And there's room. But we can get a clean close with an ATR of 26, which is not that large. I'll have to slap this guy out. Ooh. All right, 15 second setup only. Give that 15 seconds. See if you can give me a fill. 7 seconds. No fill, no trade. All right. Moving on. Gold, I saw you were moving. What's going on with you? Yeah, not much yet. Maybe getting closer. ES, still ugly? Cleaning up a little over on ES. Good. Silver. And YM, ooh, YM, just about the ugliest thing on the market right now is the Dow. ATR 34 and sideways. So back to NQ here. And let's watch 45. There you go, 45. Nico, how do you decide if you want continuation or reversion? Based on the bottom part of the channel, they say they can make a case for both. Yeah, I don't take reversion scalps in flat channels. I tried to make it work early on, and I never could. Flat channels, sideways, straight up sideways trading ranges. For me, I couldn't really make sense enough of reversion in them. Now, I will take reversion scalps when the argument is soft bear channel or soft bull channel. All of a sudden, you know, I can make that work. In flat sideways trading ranges, I think most people's experience is relatively similar. It works until it doesn't, kind of thing. Which I hate when people say that, but that's the truth. That's the truth of trading reversion in sideways ranges, because it's too hard to manage risk, because you don't really have anywhere to manage it. That's obvious, right? Because if it's sideways, you know, what are you going to do? Use the furthest outskirt of the channel to manage risk? While, you know, a lot of times it'll just wick and take you right back in. So then that starts happening to you. And you're like, well, I got to go wider. Now the stop becomes arbitrary, and it's, I don't know. You're not really getting a good expectation, because you're pulling in kind of back to the middle of the range at best, that rubber band that we've talked about in the past here. Let's see if 45 here can get a close, ideally kind of well beneath the wick low of 36 without growing too much more. If the bears can kind of thread the needle here, then I've got something I got to do. If they can't, obviously I won't. So let's see how they end up here. My cursor kind of right where I want to see the wick low of 36. And I'll keep an eye out here on the close of 45. See if I have to place my stop limit sell. Whoops. There you go. Alright. That ready. Out of the way. Bring him up. Watch. Yeah, you see that? You see that? You see that little nuance right there? How it wicked back on 45 right to the wick low of 36? What is that? Can anybody in the chat tell me what that is? What am I about to say? That's blank. Well, I mean, range, kinda. Not what I was going for, but kinda, yeah. There you go. There you go. Apparently Christian's the only big dog who knows the answer here. Bear insecurity. I don't like that. I don't want to bet on insecure ass bears. Posted up in the corner all night. So I gotta wait for 46 and see what 46 brings. And you already see that here. I mean, maybe 46 will still give us an entry, but you already see that here in the first 65 seconds of the open of 46. Bears are getting zero work done. You see this? 46. Reasonable probability of this happening on 46. That's exactly why. You know, not to say that this happens every single time. That'd be ridiculous. It's not true. But when 45, you know, just that little nuance thing, it wicks on back. That's why I want 45 to close like down here. I'm gonna get short. Because that tells me the bears are like, you know, to hell with this trading range. We're fucking taking over. That gets me more to that like 60% probability zone that I need for a repeatable edge, right? Which is kind of what I'm after, obviously. So on the close of 45, when we wick back and it's like, okay, big giant trading range. Well, actually more like this, right? You could draw this line sort of wherever. It's like, bears had it down here and they let it slide in the last like 3 seconds, right back up to the wick low 36. I know, I get it. It seems like a really small thing, but that's insecurity to me. That increases the probability of 46 doing this, on average, of course. So as much as I'd like to have taken it, you know, I can't. I can't! Not when we're in RAM mode, obviously. Let's see how this closes up here. 46. 7 seconds. All right, 47. Man, ATR on gold beneath 4 now. It's getting a little bit low over on GC. You're on NQ, we're sitting at 26. Man, you're all getting rich over here on silver. What are we looking at for size with you guys? Probably a light 100 contracts, right? It was kind of a light day, man. Light 500,000 on that pullback. By the way, since Apex is sadly only 50% off right now, are we spoiled with the 90%, the 80%, man? The best deal today is certainly Take Profit Trader. 40% off, no activation fee. Code BIG, baby, B-I-G. Daily payouts. I'm all 48. What you got for us? ATR and NQ 28. NQ still just in this little range here. All right, what time is it? Well, I'm a half hour behind. My food, damn it. All right, guys, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go hit lunch. We will see what the afternoon shall bring. Hopefully, not this little range for the next 2 hours. 2.5 hours. All right, guys, hey, subscribe to the channel. I will be live tomorrow morning. See you then, guys. Hey, stay patient. Let it come to you. But enjoy this, man. Don't be the stickler. Don't go through that phase. I think so many people, we go through that phase. Just bypass that phase. I'm telling you, it's the right way to do it. Of, I don't care if I hate what I'm doing. I don't care if this isn't fun to me. Just make money. You can do both. Okay, you can enjoy trading and also make a lot of money, and you're probably gonna make a lot more. At least that was the case for me when I started enjoying myself a little bit. But that doesn't mean not being disciplined when it's time to do it. All right, guys. Tomorrow morning, go hit lunch yourself, man. It's important. Fuel up. Back for the afternoon. See you guys.